It is state title week here in a high school football. I'm Fox23's sports director Nathan Thompson, along with the Tulsa World sports editor Barry Lewis. And Barry, it's hard to believe half of the classes, 6 out of 12, are playing their state title games this week, and it's going to be a treat. It's hard to believe it's gone so quick.
Yes, 6 this week, and the other 6 will be next week. Of course, that means we've got 12 semifinals this week, in addition to the 6 state championship games. So this is a blockbuster week, some great matchups.
Let's go over your column of the top games. That's in the Tuesday edition of the Tulsa World. You can also get it on okprepsextra.com. Game number 1, we start in the biggest class in the state, Class 6A1, and this is a rematch. The first game of the season, Owasso versus Bixby in the Battle of the Burbs, and now they're playing again, this time for a state title, a different trophy this time.
What a great matchup this is. Second time in 3 years they're meeting in the state championship game. 2 years ago, Bixby won 69-6. I expect this one to be a little closer. I think this game could go right down to the wire. It certainly has the makings for that. Of course, Bixby defeated Edmond Memorial last week fairly handily, while Owasso won a 3 overtime classic against Jenks. It's just great matchups at every position, from quarterback to offensive line to receivers, defensive backs. So much talent on the field for these two teams. Owasso has been the best team all season long. Bixby's had a couple of hiccups, including that opener when I think Owasso caught everybody by surprise a little bit. Bixby's a much different team now than it was back then, because remember, Bixby only has like 4 or 5 returning starters out of the 22 positions this year. But now Bixby seems to be gelling at the right time, and that just makes for an incredible matchup.
Should be a good one to watch. Again, all these state title games for all 12 classes this week and next week are at UCO this year. That game between Owasso and Bixby, that's Friday night at 7. And then Saturday night at 7, we have the Class 6A2 state title game, which is your number 2 game. Muskogee, ranked number 1, undefeated. The Ruffers going for their second straight state title, taking on number 2 Choctaw.
Yes, Muskogee looking for a perfect season, and their quarterback Bird Ficklin made some news this week as he flipped his commitment from Texas State to Utah. So now that he's got that behind him, he can focus on the state championship game, where he played almost a perfect game last year. So there's nothing like having, if you're playing for the state championship, a quarterback who's had the state championship game experience like he's had and done so well. And I think maybe that's also sort of one of those intangibles that Bixby's got against Owasso, because Carson Kirby, you can say the same thing about. So I think Muskogee is a solid favorite over Choctaw, although again, as we've seen in state championship games in the past, anything can happen.
And then on your game number 3, this is Thursday night at 7 o'clock, the Class 3A state title game, number 1 and undefeated Lincoln Christian taking on number 3 Sulphur. The Bulldogs have been smooth sailing for them this season. They're trying to get another state title. Yes,
Lincoln Christian seems like it would be a really solid favorite to win the gold ball once again. They seem to have it all. I mean, they're almost all regular in the state championship games. This is Sulphur's first appearance since 2018. But this Thursday night vibe, I mean, I think the last 2 years when there's something about games being played on Thursday nights in the state postseason. It seems a little off there. So we've had 2 really weird games on Thursday nights in the previous 2 years, and they've been doing this. Remember, in 2022, you had Heritage Hall beating Metro 72-56, and Kirk Francis throws for over 600 yards, just crazy. And then last year you had the weather delay, the game didn't end until midnight, and then you had Blanchard stunning Wagner. So who knows what type of weird stuff's going to happen this Thursday.
Should be good. All right, we go now to the state semifinals. So as we said, 6 state titles are next week, so that means we have 12 state semifinal games this week. And your game number 4, Class 4A semifinal. This is one of those semifinals that seems like a title game, because it's number 1 Wagner versus number 2 Elgin. Both of these teams are undefeated. They're playing this one Friday night at ECU in Ada.
Wagner's defense is really good. It allows less than 10 points a game. Well, Elgin, though, look out. Elgin's defense allows like 5 points a game, 4.5 points a game. It's out of this world. So that's something that could cause a concern for Wagner, as well as Cale Charbonneau, their State Player of the Year candidate, quarterback, linebacker, deluxe. He suffered an ankle injury in the quarterfinal. Fortunately for Wagner, they had last week off, a bye week. So from a Wagner standpoint, you hope that can be really valuable, and because it's going to be tough to win without him. It's not impossible, but having a healthy state player of the year type player available for you, that can make a big difference, especially when the teams seem to be so evenly matched.
And rounding out the top five, a game that's going to be played here in the Tulsa Metro in Class A2 semifinal. Number 1 Woodland, who has been dominant this season, taking on number 3 Regent Prep. They're playing this one over at Catoosa High School.
Yes, 2 great quarterbacks who've had such tremendous careers, and now they're looking to finish off those careers with the state title. But to do that, they first have to get past the semifinal game. Got Trey Bennett from Woodland, John Mark Roller from Regent Prep. I mean, if you just want a fun game to watch and you don't want to go to UCO and you just want to see a great high school game, this is a great, not that you have a lot of options this week, but this is certainly a game for you over at Catoosa on Friday night. Of course, the other options would be in A1, top-ranked Rejoice Christian against number 8 Christian Heritage. And then if you wanted to go to Drumright, you could see a game there too as well. Yes, this is definitely a great matchup, Woodland and Regent Prep.
All right, that rounds out the top 5. Again, you can get this in Tuesday's edition of the Tulsa World. You can also get it on okprepsextra.com. Barry, I say every week they should just pick up a Tulsa World every day of the week. Well, especially this week because we have games Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So make sure you pick up a Tulsa World for their great coverage. You can also get it on okprepsextra.com. For Fox 23, Spencer, we're sending him to Edmond. He's just going to stay there because there's 2 games on Thursday he's going to cover, 1 game Friday night, 1 game Saturday night. We'll have live coverage from there all 3 days there. And a little programming note for Fox, Friday night at 7, we do have the Mountain West championship game in college football, big time showdown between Boise State and UNLV because Boise State's trying to make the college football playoff. And we will be on after that, so sometime around 10:30, but we'll have lots of high school football coverage for you there, state title game, and also semifinal matchup highlights. So make sure you watch Fox 23 Friday night, stay up late with us. And you can also get all of our coverage on fox23.com on the sports page. Click on the High School Football Tonight tab.
And Nathan, this concludes our 10th year of working together on high school football. It's been great to do it for 10 years, and hopefully looking forward to getting back together next season as well.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you and everyone at Tulsa World. Great partners. Couldn't ask for more from the Tulsa World here to be high school football partners for a decade. It's hard to believe. And of course, we both want to thank all you viewers out there and readers for all your watching us and reading us, and also joining in on our Facebook Lives and all you do to support high school football, and to, of course, the coaches and the players as well. So this is it. It's championship week this week, and next week we'll see you on the football field.